let us first understand what is the meaning of percent, and then we shall learn what is its importance. Now, the name itself suggests percent, in which cent means 100, whereas per means for every. So, in simple terms, percent means for every 100, or it is comparing every other number with 100. Then why do we need percentage? Let us understand now. I'll consider a very simple example here. There are two people, A and B. Now, A scores 400 out of 500, whereas B scores 410 out of 500. Now, suppose if I ask you, who performed better? Obviously, you can say it is B. Why? Because he scored 10 marks more than A. Now, suppose if I tell there is another person, C. Now, C scored 420 out of 510. Now, can you tell who performed better among B and C? Well, there is a slight complication here. Unlike the comparison between A and B, you are unable to judge immediately who is better among B and C. Why? Because in the first case, both A and B wrote the exam for the same number of marks, that is 500. But whereas in the second case, among B and C, they both wrote the exam for different marks. That is the reason why we are unable to tell who performed better. So that is the reason we wanted a number with which we can compare every other number, so that we can calculate the performance. So in short, percentage is a performance tool or a comparison tool which compares the performances of different individuals or the organizations. In this example, if you calculate the percentages of A, B and C, we should get A scored 80%, B scored 82%, whereas C scored 82.35%. So I say among all three of them, C is better but not B. I hope you're understanding. So now how I calculated the percentages, that we'll be learning now. Suppose if you score 60 marks out of 80 marks, and if somebody asks you, what is your percentage? Well, let us understand the meaning of this question. If you score 60 out of 80, what is your percent means? If you get 60 marks for 80 marks, then you can score how many marks for 100? That is the simple meaning of what is your percent. So when we equate this, we should get 60 by 80 into 100 is equals to X. So this is how we got our childhood formula, that is obtained marks divided by total marks into 100. If I further calculate this, I'll get 20 into 3 and 20 into 4 and 4 into 1 and 4 into 25. So 25 threes is 75. So it means if you score 60 marks out of 80 marks, your percentage is 75%, which is also nothing but you can score 75 marks out of 100 marks. Now, 60 by 80 is a fraction or a number. So to convert it into percentage, what did we do? We just multiplied with 100. So it means if you want to convert any number to percentage, you just have to multiply with 100. Now what if you want to come back? To convert from number to percentage, you're multiplying with 100. So to convert percentage into number, you just have to divide with 100. Let us cross verify that. In this case, we got 75%, What is the meaning of it? 75% means a 75 out of 100. So 25 threes and 25 fours, which is nothing but 3 by 4. And even 60 by 80 is also 3 by 4. So we understood now, to convert any percentage to number, we have to divide with 100. To convert any number to percentage, we just have to multiply with 100. To master this concept, you need to learn certain tools in the percentages. Now these tools will improve your speed and will reduce your time in calculating the solution when you're attempting the questions on percentages, profit and loss, simple interest, compound interest, and even data interpretation. One such tool, and my favorite one, is fraction percentage relationship. Now what exactly it is? Let me show you. Suppose if you have a fraction 1 by 1. So 1 by 1, if you want to convert it into percentage, I just have to multiply with 100. So that becomes 100%. So 1 by 1 is 100%. Likewise, if I consider 1 by 2, 1 by 2 is 0.5. But when we multiply with 100, that should become 50%. So again, 1 by 3 directly 33.33%, because 1 by 3 is a 0.333. When we multiply with 100, it becomes 33.33%. Likewise, we have 1 by 4, which is 25%, 1 by 5, which is 20%, and 1 by 6, that is 16.66%. So these are the very basic fractions whose values you must remember in order to improve your speed in percentages. Well, these are not just the values. Apart from them, there are another 6 values which I recommend you to remember. Our second set includes fractions with the prime basis. They are 1 by 7, whose value is 14.28%, 1 by 11, 9.09%, 1 by 13, 7.69%, 1 by 17, 5.88%, 1 by 19, 5.26%, 1 by 23, whose value is 4.34%. Now I suggest you to remember the values of all these 12 fractions, because if you can remember them, you know all the values till 1 by 25. How? Let me show that to you. Suppose if you want to calculate what is 1 by 8, we know we can write 1 by 8 as 1 by 4 into 2. Now we have already calculated what is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is 25%. When you divide this 25% with the 2, you should get 12.5%. Likewise, if you want 1 by 9, 1 by 9 can be written as 1 by 3 into 3. Now we know this 1 by 3 is 33.33. When you divide 33.33 with 3, that should give us 11.11%. Again, if you want 1 by 6, 1 by 6 can be written as, 1 by 12. 1 by 12 can be written as 1 by 6 into 2. Now what is 1 by 6? 16.66. When you divide it with 2, it should give us 8.33%. Another example, suppose if you want 1 by, let's say 18. I can write 1 by 18 as 1 by 6 into 3 or 1 by 9 into 2. Now just now we have calculated 1 by 9, which is 11.11%. So 1 by 9 is 11.11. When you divide it with the 2, that should give us 5.55%. So like this, you can calculate any fraction till 1 by 25. So if you know the values of all these 12 fractions. Apart from this, even if you have values something like this, if you have 2 by 3, now I can write 2 by 3 as 2 into 1 by 3. Now we know 1 by 3 is 33.33. When you multiply with 2, that should give us 66.66%. Suppose if you have 3 by 5, we know we can write 3 by 5 as 3 into 1 by 5, where 1 by 5 is 20%. When multiplied with 3, we should get exactly 60%. Or if you have, let's say, 2 by 7. How can I write 2 by 7? I can write it as 2 into 1 by 7. Now we know that 1 by 7 is 14.28. When I multiply that with the 2, that should give us 28.56%. Our second tool is how to calculate 10%, 1% and 5% of a number. Let us see that. Suppose if you want to calculate 10% of some number, let's say 10% of x. Now we know that 10% means 10 by 100 of x. So when I cancel both the zeros, we should get x by 10. It means if you want to calculate 10% of any number, you just have to divide that number with a 10. For example, let's say if I have 9,000. If I want 10% of 9,000, just divide 9,000 with the 10. Then what do I get? I should get 900. Suppose if I have 6,200, 10% of it, divide this with the 10. What do I get? 620. Suppose if I want 840, divide this with the 10. That should give us 84, which is 10% of 840. Suppose if I have 74, 10% of this should be 7.4. Even if I have 8 whose value 10% means if I divide this with the 10, I should get 0.8. It means if you want to calculate 10% of any number, just divide that number with 10. What if you want to calculate 1% of a number? Like 10%, if I consider 1% of some number x. Now we know 1% means 1 by 100 of x. So which is also nothing but x by 100. So it means if you want to calculate 1% of any number, just divide that number with 100. So if you see 9,000, if I want 1% of it, 9,000 divided by 100, what do I get? 90. Suppose 6,200 divided with 100, we should get 62. So 62 is 1% of 6,200. 840 divided by 100, which is 8.4. 74 by 100, 0.74. 0.08. So what we are doing here, to calculate 1% of any number, we are just dividing that number with 100. Now how about 5%? Let's check it in the same way. If I want 5% of some number x, 5% is 5 by 100 of x. So 5 into 1 and 5 into 20. So this should give us x by 20. It means if you want 5% of any number, you have to divide that number with 20. But wait a second. Can't you just take 5% as half of 10%? Yes. So we need not to divide with the 20. We can plug the 10% of a number just by looking at it. Now if you see 9,000, 10% of it is 900. So if you want 5%, take half of 900. So that should give us 450. Suppose if it is 6,200, 10% is 620. Half of it will be 310, which is 5% of 6,200. Likewise, 840, 10% is 84. Half of it should give us 42. 74, 10%, 7.4. Half of it will be 3.7. Last one, 8. 10% is 0.8 and 5% will be half of it, which should be 0.4. So what we are doing, if you want to calculate 5% of any number, just take it as half of 10%. So let's summarize everything. If you want 10%, divide with the 10. If you want 1% of any number, divide that number with 100. For 5%, just calculate 10% and take half of that. Where do we use this 10%, 1% and 5%? Well, let me show you a simple example here. Suppose if you want to calculate 20% of, let's say, 1400. Now we know 10% of it is 140. Because 10%, how do we calculate? Divide with the 10. So we should get 140. But we want 20%. 20% can be written as 10% into 2. Yes, 10% is 140 into 2 should give us 280. let's say, if you want 30% of, let's say, 5,400. Now 30% can be written as 10% into 3. Now we know 10% of 5,400 is 540, and I multiply this with 3, that I should get 1500 plus 120, that is 1620. Let's say if you want 45% of 6,800, what do we do? 40% can be written as 50% minus 5%. Now 50% of 6,800 is nothing but half of it, which is 3,400. Now 5%, 10% is 680, half of it will be 340. Or you can also do 5% as 50% divided by 10. 50% is 3,400. If you divide it with the 10, you should get 340. Either way, you'll get the same value. So if I subtract this, I should get 3,060. Suppose if you want to calculate 32% of, let's say, 9,600, what do we do? I can write it as 30% plus 2%. Now, what is 10% of this? 960. So if you want 30%, we have to do 960 into 3. That is 2,700 plus 180. So 960 into 3, 2,700 plus 180 you should get. So that will become 2,880 plus 2%. What is 1% of this? 96. 2% will be double that value. 96 into 2, that should give us 192. So if I add both of them, I should get, so 3,072. That should be the value of 32% of 9,600. So this is where it will be useful if you already know how to calculate the 10%, 1% and 5% of any given number. What if I ask you to calculate, let's say, 66% of, let's say, 4,200. Now, you can calculate it as 60% plus 6%. 60% is 10% into 6. Again, 6% is 1% into 6. Well, that looks slightly lengthy, right? So what we can do is, we know 60% is 60, 66% is 66 by 100 of 4,200. So 0000 get cancelled. So we just have to multiply 66 with 42. That we have already learned how to multiply two-digit numbers. So if we multiply them, we should get 12, and this is 1 carry, and this is 12 and 24. That is 36 plus 1, 37, and this is 24. This is 27. So in short, you need not to do this step. You can directly calculate by cancelling percentage with a 00. Suppose if I say, let's say 47% of 342. So 40% is 47% is 47 by 100. So first we divide this with the 100. So what do we get? 3.42 into 47. I hope you're understanding. I'm repeating. This is 47 by 100. So 100, when I cancel this, you should get 3.42 into 47. Now, so there is nothing here. I can put 0. If I go with this multiplication, I should get 14 and 1, this is 28, and 8, 36, 37, and this is 3, 21, 0 and 16. 21 and 16 is 31, 37 plus 3, 40, 0, 4, and this is 12, and this is 0, 12 plus 4, 16, and 1, this is 0 and 1. And after 2 digits, we have a decimal point. So that is 160.74. Suppose if I take, let's say, 28% of, let's say, 32, you can calculate it as 28% is 28 by 100. Or you can directly write it as 0.28 into 32. So if you multiply this 28 and 32, I should get 16 and 1. This is 4 and this is 24. 4 plus 24 is 28 plus 1, 29, 2 carry, and this is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. After decimal point, there should be 2 digits. So I'll put a decimal point here. Now, I gave you 2 methods of calculating the percentage of any number. Either by using 10%, 5% and 1%, or directly using divide by 100. Now, which one to go with? Should you depend on any particular method? No. You have to be versatile. Depending on the situation, you have to select. Suppose if I ask you just what is, a 40% of 480. Now, for this, do not use this method. Just directly calculate 10% into 4 because 10% is 4.8. If you multiply with 4, that should get 19.2. So when you can multiply the stuff in your mind, go with 10%, 5% and 1%. Now, if you cannot calculate in your mind, then go with divide by 100. So this is how you have to choose which method to go with in the calculations. To watch more free videos, download our Learn application from Play Stores. If you are benefited by these videos, please like and share our videos, and also do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you don't miss any of our new videos that we upload regularly. If you have any queries or suggestions, please drop them in the comment section below. Also, if you want to reach out to me or any of my team members, you can always do that through any of the social media platforms, and the links of which are already provided in the description below.